So I've also heard somebody tell me this also, that why don't I always look towards science, like actual studies, right? And not personal experience. But this is the whole thing. This is how we're always designed to do things, and that's looking outside of ourselves for somebody else to do our experiments, for somebody else to heal us. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just putting yourself in the equation as the scientist, the priest, the observer. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you want to do, you have to understand a lot of these experiences are my scientific studies. These are my experiments. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm out in the garden. I'm out here sometimes over 6, maybe 7 hours sometimes. And I've been out here daily. You get what I'm saying? And I also noticed that, you know, there certain times, like I've mentioned before, I'm so immersed into this project out here that I do in the garden sometimes that I forget to eat. And I'm actually experiencing a detox process when I'm out here drenched in sweat and whatnot. And I can tell you right now, it feels fucking amazing. And if you notice certain things, there's times where I remember that there's been times where I go to the beach and I come back and I feel beat up. Like, the sun tends to have an effect on you that it kind of beats you up. Like, you feel tired. You know what I'm saying? But there's been times where after I go to the beach and I'm under the sunlight, I've been walking in the sand, I've been able to have, like, I'm telling you, the fucking sex was amazing. Like, I just get like Superman, literally. Like, it's like a lightning rod, and like I'm gonna like literally touch the fucking girl's kidneys or something. You know what I'm saying? But this is basically like a chemistry, and this is why, like, depending on your mental state, you know, I'm outside doing something I want to do. So I'm outside gardening and I'm so immersed into it that I'm not eating, and I'm allowing my body a detox. You know what I'm saying? I noticed that I'm not tired. I have way more energy, and I don't even sleep as much either. Now, when I'm out in the beach, I tend to be drinking sometimes. I'm outside lusting over other girls and whatnot. While I'm there, I may be eating like junk food or whatnot, and you definitely feel a difference. You get what I'm saying? One of the things that I've always been kind of conscious on is not putting fucking sunblock on my body, even when I was doing that back then. But you'll also notice that the salt water has a very powerful effect as far as to stripping your body of certain things that don't belong on there. You know what I'm saying? That's why you tend to you'll notice that you'll start to, you know, shed a little bit from the skin. But either way you put it, you got to understand one thing over here. The sun is an organic element. Nothing outside of you that's organic is supposed to hurt you or aid you or do anything of the above. I mentioned the previous video as far as to like plants, you know, kids, they're abundant in collagen, and they're mainly more water than you are. They're more flexible, more malleable, more open-minded. You know, as adults, we're more stiff, more rigid, more closed-minded and whatnot. This has a lot to do with indoctrinations, belief systems, which actually create blockages in your body because you don't want to hear nothing. There's something called cognitive dissonance that you'll actually experience, and you can observe yourself through these times. Certain things you might be programmed to think are disgusting and whatnot, you know, and you have to ask yourself why. You know why? It's all indoctrinations. It's all information, and how you've been molded is how you've been programmed as a child. It molded you into who you are today. You get what I'm saying? To see things the way you see things, to see things how you are. First of all, like people say, the world is fucked up. You don't see the world for how it is. You see the world for how you are. You get what I'm saying? And this is why I'm so immersed into like looking up information on, you know, what financial gurus have to offer and whatnot. One of the things that I've noticed is they said that in the journey to trying to accomplish a goal that you have, right? Success, for example, is, and I heard this from Neville Goddard. Success, what is success? The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. In other words, if you're doing something you want to do, and or let's say you have a goal and every day you take a step closer towards that goal, that's success. Success, like you're succeeding, right? So when you look at this, you start to ask yourself, so success, I'm doing something I want to do. It's actually energy building, okay? forgot where I was going with this. So I started to put too much thought into it, but whatever. Anyway, like I said, there's been times where when you have okay, yeah, I was talking about the child, how they're more water, we're more open-minded, so to enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to be, childlike. It's not to be childish, but it's more or less also your superpowers are your belief, your faith, and your imagination. And as children, we get indoctrinated to believe in certain things, such as like Santa Claus, an external God outside of you, to believe in like what your parents, everything your parents tell you. I mean, my parents lied to me telling me Santa Claus exists, and that's kind of like a mini trauma if you really want to look at it. But if you really want to look at it from like, let's say at us as adults and everything that we believe in, we're literally like big children, and then a lot of the times we don't really ask ourselves why we believe in certain things. As a child, did you ask why you believe in Santa Claus? You didn't ask. You just believed your parents because you looked at your parents as God and you put all your faith in your parents. So we put all our faith in an external source of God to come and save us, an external source such as doctors, the government, all these things we put our external faith in, and that's us giving our superpowers away. The same way they tell you like, oh, why do you, personal anecdotal claims? Who is to say these things aren't valid? Do your own personal scientific experiments. The reason we only see a certain percent of the color spectrum is because you're a fractal of the entire totality that you see outside of yourself. But the reason to maintain an open mind is to be able to process the information that others are speaking. Find others as interesting as you think, you are. Because I'm sure you think you're an interesting individual. If not, you wouldn't even be on camera. You wouldn't be speaking about anything. You want others to buy into your ideas because you find yourself interesting. So if others find you interesting, it's because those people are a version or a reflection of you. The more you find other people interesting, you tend to attract more people who are interested in you as well. You get what I'm saying? So here's the thing when it comes down to the aging thing and whatnot. When you look at, let's say, certain diet things that you may consume like bone marrow. Bone marrow is very high in these minerals when you put it under a slow boil. You can extract the benefits of the bone marrow because of the mineral content in it. But then again, you can also look at it like the collagen content is very high. You get what I'm saying? So when you look at it in your body, right? You have the bone marrow, but this is why it's important to manage the pH in the body. Because the pH, if it's not balanced and you're eating too much of an acidic diet, your body robs from the structure, the skeletal foundation, which is basically your bones, to balance calcium because, the acids, because calcium is a buffering agent. So it's a carbonate. You know what I'm saying? So this is why it's important to look at your stability and foundation and say, this is basically as important as it gets, even for it's not just for muscular, or you can look at stability in finances and whatnot, but you look at it also for your skin. You hear what I'm saying? But who rocks your foundation is who messes with you outside of you because they penetrated your skin, right? So you develop thick skin, and the only way you develop thick skin is the sun appears to be so aggressively, active on your skin, but you also become, impervious to it the more you're exposed to it. How do you think the Mypatera aquatica plants, the stems that grow out of them, they're so strong because of all the winds and all the things that the environmental aggressiveness that it's exposed to. Where it's as above, so below. The stronger the stems get up above, the roots also tend to become stronger because the plant is now trying to anchor itself, stronger into the ground to prevent it from getting toppled over. So these things make you stronger. You know what I'm saying? You don't look at the sun and try to protect yourself from it. You try to protect yourself from viruses by constantly cleaning yourself, knowing that the germs is what's actually cleaning your system. That's why if you want to look younger, don't shower after you go out in the sun, and don't apply any moisturizers, because the oils that come out of your body because you're going to sweat. But depending on what you're eating, you are what you eat. So if you're eating meat, those saturated fats are going to come out on your skin. And that's why you tend to develop skin cancer, because those are acids. If you eat healthy fats or fruits, which have omega-3s in them, you can actually get these oils, these healthy waters. Living force, life force is what comes out of your skin, and it's interacting with the sun. You're going to be like a tree with fruits in it that enjoys being in the sunlight. Because, you see, you have to understand what you consume is life force when you pick a fruit from the tree, right? This is the problem, is that we're eating dead food. And the sun is a generator. What is it generating off of? Dead matter. What is dead matter? It's going to decay. There's life in decaying shit, in rotting things, right? But how does that benefit you, though? You get what I'm saying? You're in an organic machine that's ran on life. You have to understand the death process as well, which I'll get into in another video, because I actually want to go on the vegans on this topic. But when it comes down to let's say, for example, when I was speaking on in the previous video, when you look at Earth, the anagram for heart is Earth, right? So you look at Earth and heart, you can rearrange the words, you get the same word. It's kind of like evil and devil. I mean, evil and live and devil and lived. You know what I'm saying? So these words are all interchangeable, but inverted living. When you look at if you have these negative emotions, right? It's just like the example I made as to, you can, if you were biologically correct, right, and you were living in the true nature and natural state that you're supposed to be in, you would actually be able to use your poop as fertilizer for the soil, and in turn the earth returns to you healthy plants with healthy fruit, because your poop is supposed to be a fertilizer. What you breathe out, right, the trees they in kind give you back life force, oxygen, right? So you see how everything that we're consuming to keep us alive is life force. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who don't have access to this tend to want to vamp off other people, right? But the way you can actually do this, if you go into, like, meditation's important, yoga poses and all that, right? But grounding, very important. And the reason grounding is because when you plant the soles of your feet on the soil, if you look at the soul, you actually strengthen your soul as well. You're putting energy into your spirituality. You're actually going to glow more because you're like a lantern, a light. Where's the life in you? You know what I'm saying? You're putting all the life outside of you. You put all the life outside of you and you get nothing in return. You actually end up looking drained. So that's why when you plant the soles of your feet on the soil, these negative emotions, these, like imbalances that you may have, you can give that to the earth. You bring that down to the earth. Those are the positive, that's like the acids, right? Positive. Then you bring in the negative ions. You get what I'm saying? You give out the positive, you get in the negative ions. There's also something happening as above. The sun is actually giving you life force, to enter through your crown chakra, down through your core, into the ground, into the roots of your feet. And in kind, you're just doing this from below as well, like a tree. A tree gets all the nutrients, right, from down below, feeds the tree and feeds everything up above. But in kind, the sun is bringing in the beneficial nutrients that conditions in the soil needs that it cannot get from above ground, like the mycelium network. So it depends on the tree, right, to take in this life force, bring all those sugars and all that beautiful sweetness down to the roots, to the mycelium network, and then the mycelium network in kind feeds the tree from underneath because it can't survive above ground, and what's above ground cannot survive underground, right? So there's a symbiotic relationship happening here. There's nothing here in separation. You get what I'm saying? So this is why you're like a tree. So in order for you to be young and stay young and vibrant, you need the sunlight, okay? You need to make sure you're not, like, I'm not adding any protectants on the leaves of my plants, right? What you do is you leave the plants outside and it eventually develops a hardiness to the sun. You get what I'm saying? But the sun is information. You put sunblock on your body, you're actually blocking the pores. Your skin breathes. You know what I'm saying? But there's also light codes that you receive, information that you receive into the skin, the largest organ in the body. You get what I'm saying? But the whole process, depending on the actual layer of bacteria on your skin. When you scrape your skin all the time with chlorinated and fluoridated water and whatnot, and again, it's not to put yourself in victim mode, to look at these things outside of you as above you. But you have to understand these little obstacles are actually holding you back. No different than you being unaware of negative thoughts that keep you from progressing or succeeding in life and doing what it is that you want to do. You're at the mercy of something because there's certain things and obstacles that are there to imbalance your natural chemistry. So when you go and shower, after you get in the sunlight, you actually wiping off everything that's getting processed on the skin, such as that hormone D3 that's being processed on the skin to actually aid you in your endocrine system functioning properly and everything else working inside of you. If you have a septic tank, right, there's bacteria in that septic tank. You don't clear out the bacteria inside the septic tank. You need that bacteria there. So whatever nasty shit goes in there. That bacteria breaks all that down, and then you don't have any blockages in your septic tank. You get what I'm saying? If you have a blocked up septic tank, you have a problem where you're going to have backed up sewage in your house. It's the same thing in the body. All these lymph nodes in your body they have bacteria. And this is what's dependent on you eliminating waste from the body. The same thing in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? When you have bacteria in the mouth, there's good bacteria, there's bad bacteria. Like cats. These cats go outside, they hunt food. You think that the food that they're hunting outside aren't full of bacteria? And then they have cleaner teeth than a domesticated animal. Why? Because the domesticated animal is eating kibbles, and some owners even going as far as to brushing their dog's teeth with some chemical fucking like paste and fluoridated water. You get what I'm saying? And then these animals tend to come out with human diseases later on. You get what I'm saying? So when you start to look at how to look younger and vibrant comes down to life. A lot of people look for life outside of them because they don't know how to harness it from, the air. That's how do you think breatharians exist? There are breatharians, and it's just that we've designed our bodies to have to process food. That's the whole thing. Our body wasn't even designed to actually really even process food. And I'm going to make that in another video. All right. It was processed to intake the life force from the air. And I'll just cover that in another video because it'll make this video crazy. It'll probably be another video. And, and that's why there's certain people who go and look for this from people. They're like a vampire. They're vamping that energy. And then when you call them out, notice how they get all aggressive, right? They get all aggressive. They get all defensive. I'm not a vampire. And then that's because that vampire has light getting shed on it, so it's getting aggressive. You get what I'm saying? And this is how it works. This is how life works at its core, actually, to be honest with you. So, when you do shadow work, you get triggered by people outside of you because that's a light being shed on that shadow aspect of yourself, that vampiric side of you. That's why when you can do shadow work, you're shedding light on these things, right? And you integrate it. The same way when you go out in the sunlight, you become sun hardy. In the beginning, you were in like the winter, you were in the house the whole winter under no sunlight. You get what I'm saying? So what do you think is happening now? When you go outside, you're going to get sunburned until you eventually become, more hardy to the sun. The same way like a plant, but you don't apply anything to the leaves of the plants. You don't apply anything to the skin. There's nothing outside of you that's organic that's going to hurt you. Everything that's outside of you that's organic works with you. It's just like the body, man. The body works with you, but some people work against the body. So you actually end up creating diseases, and it appears that the body has something called autoimmune, as if something's attacking something for no reason. Bitch, there's no such thing as autoimmune. You are the one attacking your own body by actually, getting under fucking chlorinated water, thinking that the cleaner your skin, the healthier you are. No, man, the bacteria on the skin is what actually protects you. Why do you think kids that play in dirt are strengthening their immune system? They're interacting with viruses, bacteria. But do you know how it makes them even stronger? And why they say one with nature is not just outside. One with nature is being one with nature from the inside out. Your body inside of you is able to interact with this chemistry outside of you, and this bacteria now can interact with the viruses in you. It's getting processed. You might get a little immune response, such as a little mucus and whatnot, but you won't even feel it if your body's in perfect shape. People who have a bad body, they start to get these immune responses and they feel more violent, but they're actually healing symptoms. You get what I'm saying? So the more toxic and, let's say sicker for the sake of conversation you are, the more aggressive these detox symptoms are. When you're not in a bad state, these detox symptoms don't appear to be bad at all. You get what I'm saying? So that's why if you are in a balanced pH state inside your body, mentally and physically, then you have these bacteria able to inhabit your body and actually help you thrive and survive. You get what I'm saying? When you take an antibiotic, it's like a nuclear bomb. They get rid of bad fucking shit that's in there, but they also get rid of the good guys. So you're left open and vulnerable for attack, So you keep your body pH corrected. It's like the soil in a garden. It's cool. It's moist, right? It's not hot and dry, because when it's cool and moist, the bacteria process organic matter, and this is what's helping the tree take in this bioavailable nutrient. If it's dry in like a barren desert, that bacteria dies, your plant's going to appear to have a deficiency. And the reason why is because the machine stopped working inside. So people then go buy fertilizers to treat the symptom rather than looking at what is the cause of this happening. I mean, it's like, what the fuck, you know? Everything is a chemistry. It's sex. You get what I'm saying? It's sexual. Everything's sexual. It's like you could be the most sexual being on the planet. You don't have, this doesn't require for you to have sexy looks. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at everything outside of you, you know, you can have a conversation with somebody and have good chemistry. And you feel more energized. It was a building conversation. You feel good after that conversation. You talk to certain people and you feel drained afterwards. You feel all fucked up, right? Why is that? You know, bad chemistry. You can have sex with a girl or a guy and you notice how the next day you got a fucking glow to you? Why? There was chemistry. You both lit each other up. You really turned each other on. It's not just sexually, but you turned on that light within them. So now they got a glow. They got a fire within them and they feel good. Like even the honeymoon effect. It could make you feel good, that glow. You know what I'm saying? But when it's bad sex, what happens, man? It's fucked up. It's bad chemistry, you know? And you could even look at this with just what you're doing in life. I'm doing my garden. I forget to eat, yet I have more energy, right? So you don't really get energy from the food. It's just life force. And I'm doing what I want to do. When you're in a job that you don't want to do and you feel fucking like time is going slow, you feel drained out. It's low vibrational, right? But everything's a chemistry. It's sexual experiences. You know? You listen to information, right? You eat food. It's a sexual experience. You become one with this food, right? Through your pie hole, your vagina. Because notice how when you get hungry, your mouth waters just like the vagina. When a vagina is turned on, it starts to water, right? It starts to get moist, right? So what happens then afterwards, right? Is there anything else happening once it gets past that point? That's why I want to get into it in another video. But if you like this, like it. That does help my channel out a lot. And we will talk soon.